There you go. Um, it's discouraging. Watching every game, every series, and there's so many series that look really promising, and we've got Nashville and Winnipeg getting things fired up. The Penguins just tied their series with Washington again. The Penguins shut Washington down and looked like the much better team again. First period, there's no scoring. Second period, Gensel opened the scoring with his ninth from Simone and Crosby. Then Washington tied it. Oshie gets his fourth from Backstrom and Kuznetsov before Malkin scores his fourth to reassert themselves as the leaders in this game from Hornqvist and a very quiet Phil Kessel. Kessel being quiet is a key thing in this series, and honestly, kind of scares me a little bit. And then in the third, I don't understand this. I don't understand being shorthanded and pulling the goalie. I don't get it. I really don't. I can understand 6-on-5, but 5-on-5, I don't. Especially when you can't get a shot through. So Gensel gets the easy empty netter, assist to Crosby and Letang. Holtby makes 21 saves on 23 shots. Murray made 20 saves on 21. Didn't really have to be that sharp in the third, but look at that. Murray allowed one goal. This is bad news for Washington. This is a big momentum swing. And my concern is simply a matter of the the Penguins are defending champs, and tonight they looked like defending champs. The Pittsburgh Penguins tonight look like Stanley Cup champions. And I did do that joke video, Penguins won the cup tonight after their first win. I'm starting to see it right now. That the Penguins are rounding into form. And the Capitals are an annual victim to this. Now, I've said, if Washington could somehow prove me wrong, I'd be more than happy to see that happen. 3 shots in the third. 3. That's not enough. Pittsburgh's defense was stifling in this game, and when shots got through, Murray was up to the task. This was a great shutdown game for Pittsburgh, and don't look now, Jake Gensel's got 10 goals, and we're in the second round. Jake Gensel's putting up Gretzky numbers, and we're in the second round. So Jake Gensel right now is your Conn Smythe Trophy winner, if we were awarding it tonight. But, Washington does still have 2 games to lose. Pittsburgh still has 2 games to win. We can't treat this like a funeral, but I can tell you this feels familiar. This looks familiar. This is the kind of game that Pittsburgh needed at home, and they got it. And this is where Washington drives me nuts. This was the night that they could have driven the nail straight into that coffin and buried the Penguins. Made it so they had to win 3 in a row, and they didn't. It's the same as Boston had their shot at a 2-0 lead in Tampa, and they didn't get that. So there are certain pivotal moments in a series where you look back and you go, man, that team had a chance to win at this point in a series, and they lost it. I'm not saying Washington's lost it because that's melodramatic. I'm just saying this feels familiar. And the narrative feels familiar. And, for this series, it's going to 6. Minimum of 6. Which is great for all of us who are fans of the game and want to see all these series going as far as possible. And we now have every series tied at 2. If Nashville wins tonight, we have every series tied at 2. So we'll see. And of course, then Boston has to win tomorrow too. It's going to be a very, very interesting series from here. This is now a best of 3. Much like last night, we saw Vegas and San Jose decide that their series is best of 3. And that usually favors the home team. So you gotta love Vegas in that perspective. And yet for Washington, we've seen it before. They just didn't have any pushback in the third. And that is exactly where Washington's failed before. Is that final absolute necessary. You've got to get this goal now. You've got to even it up. And they failed. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm not trying to be complete doom and gloom, but this really feels like the series we saw last year and the year before. Washington has a chance to potentially shut things down and keep the hopes low for Pittsburgh, and it doesn't work out for them. But again, let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And now we've got Nashville and Winnipeg to come later tonight, but this series is tied at 2. Are we going to have every series tied at 2? It could happen, but we have yet to find out. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.